Hi, I'm Ben Green. We're back behind the scenes here at SeriesFest in the C Film Center, downtown Denver. I'm sitting with the creators up north at the world premiere here at SeriesFest. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves and talk a bit about your involvement in the project?
Totally. My name is Emil Pinnock. I'm the creator, co-director, and also one of the stars of the series Up North.
Yes, and I'm Damaine Radcliff. I'm one of the executive producers and co-director, and one of the stars of Up North also.
I really appreciate you guys sitting down with me. I've been pretty excited to talk with you guys because this piece is so fascinating. You guys shot it at Rikers, and I know that you have a really personal attachment to the story. Emil, will you tell us a bit about that?
Of course. Well, unfortunately, on my 19th birthday, I was arrested on my birthday, 19th birthday, for the possession of two firearms. I was sent to prison, and I was housed in the Queens Detention Center, which is a building of the New York City Corrections of Rikers Island. I had to stay there until I went to trial. Eventually, the justice system did work in my favor this time, and I was found not guilty of something that I didn't do. And me and the six guys that I was arrested with were completely acquitted of all of our charges. During my time there, I encountered a number of experiences that I thought were things that I wanted to tell through filmmaking. I had already been introduced to filmmaking as a child actor before then. I have never really created anything of my own, but I had wanted to. And then after that experience, I was compelled, and I had made a decision that I would tell this story of your young inmate going to prison and the different things that he encounters, not only with the other inmates, but also just through the justice system, through the lawyers, through the officers that are there. And many people hear that and they think negative things, but there are a lot of positive things and things that you experience as well. There are a lot of inmates that you grow relationships with. You have to depend on these people for survival. And so there's a lot of unique bonds that are there. There are correctional officers who do govern prison well. There are lawyers who do fight for your freedom, and I had one, and I don't have a felony today because my lawyer wanted me to fight. I wanted to cop a plea. I wanted to agree to something I didn't do so I can take a lesser amount, because they were saying I can do 7 years in prison, but if I just say that I do it and not go to trial, because there's always that dynamic where they say, well, this is what you can get, but if you don't go to trial, I'll only give you 1.5 years. I tried to take the 1.5, 2 years, and my lawyer pushed. And a friend of mine, actually, who was my co-defendant, named Black, he was just like, listen, we can beat this. You don't have to give into a system. And I decided to roll the dice, and it actually worked in my favor.
It's amazing to hear this because it does feel like such an unusual story for someone to actually challenge the justice system, especially in Queens. I mean, to hear that you started in a penitentiary in Queens and then ended up back in the same penitentiary but as a filmmaker is really amazing.
Let me tell you a little about that. So I grew some really close relationships with the leadership there while I was there, and they were able to point me in the right direction to speak to the people who I needed to come back to film there. Mr. McCall, who's in charge of that, who had to make that decision, phenomenal man, just knows my story, wanted to give me an outlet to be able to do it, provided me with the resources to do that. Let me come in there with a crew of every day of about 100, 120 people. When you think of how many extras and the cast and the production crew that we had. And remember, this prison is live. So there are inmates who are housed there. There are inmates who come in and out of Queens Detention Center at this time for different trials. We would see buses come in and out. We would have to stop shooting so that inmates can come in and go out. Sometimes they were in their cells. There was even some times where we were behind and we needed to move equipment from one floor to the other floor, and they would send the inmates who are on good behavior to come and help us.
Let me add something. One of the interesting things about it being live, and this is really the truth, the people that we were packing and moving equipment inside the prison, and there's buses that come in every 2 to 3 minutes, bringing inmates in, bringing inmates out, and while on the bus, somebody yelled out to Emil, literally yelled out, Emil, what you doing here? And he could tell you exactly like what happened.
My first cousin, my mom's youngest son, he had just got arrested for a shooting in our community. He's coming in. We don't know that he got arrested. Yeah. They arrested him and they're bringing him in on a bus. Where they're shooting, he doesn't know that I'm there shooting. we're shooting, and my mom is there with me. My mom is watching her nephew, her sister's youngest son, come in on the bus into the prison that we're actually there shooting on. So can you imagine how eerie that is, and just like the story? So, you know, it was crazy going back there. We opened up, you know, as to pay like some type of homage to this story. The opening scene that Messiah steps out of that cell. We spoke to the prison and we said, what was the last cell Emil that I was housed in? We had one of our associate producers just wrangle him for it. And so right before I beat my trial, I was actually in solitary confinement, which is some of the smaller cells. And so we opened up him coming out of one of those smaller cells as a sense of freedom. You know, me leaving that system. And a lot of the guys that were housed with me there as inmates, we brought back when we were filming. So we wanted it to kind of have this moment where we could actually all go back there, men who are free now and living their lives in a completely positive, you know, positive way, that then we could just go back and be able to tell the story.
What an amazing experience. Well, I mean, how cathartic. I am so excited for this thing to exist and for you to be able to tell the story in this way, and I'm really excited for people to come see it. I know that it is tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Thank you. At
6:45.
Is there a screening? Is there a first screening?
First screening was today.
First screening was today. And the
And
second screening is tomorrow at 6:45. 6:45. You have to see this. I'm going to be there. I'm so excited to see it.
I do want to say, and you know, sometimes you want people to come because it's your thing, and it's true. You're like, I'm doing something. I want people to come. I want a good response. But after seeing that first screening, every single person that was in the theater just now came up to us one by one and expressed. Some people in tears, some people still choked up with that like frog in their throat. Some people just sat in the theater, and it really connected. And so anyone that's in Denver, anyone who's around, anyone who's knows of SeriesFest, I believe that you would have an amazing experience. You know, I think that what SeriesFest has provided, I thank you guys for giving independent artists like myself the opportunity. Thank you to Randy and Kaylee for just putting this such a well-oiled machine, and for everybody who works, the staff. It's a wonderful experience. I've been to a lot of film festivals, some of the renowned ones, and I don't think that the care and the culture is the same for independent artists. So I just thank you guys. Come out, check out Up North. I think you'll experience a good film, but even more so, you'll experience a better festival. Thank you.
We are really grateful to have you guys here. Well, tune in at SeriesFest.com. You can see the schedule. We'll see you guys soon.